All right, so let's dive into this hyper-focus thing. Ever notice how some days you're just like on fire, works
Yeah.
effortless, you're crushing your to-do list? That's hyper-focus, right? And today we're picking apart Chris Bailey's book, Hyper-Focus, to, well, unlock that level of focus, and really boost that productivity.
What gets me is how we think those hyper-focus moments are, like flukes. But Bailey's saying, nope, it's a skill. You can actually train for it.
Like a mental muscle we can, like, pump up. But he doesn't make it sound easy.
Yeah.
The stuff he says about what our brains are up against these days, kind of scary.
Yeah, he drops this bomb early on. 11 million bits of information hit our brains every second.
11 million. That's why I can't find my phone, ever.
Seriously, imagine our poor brains drowning in data. And get this, we can only consciously handle like 40 bits of that at once. It's like trying to water a garden with a fire hose.
Okay, so not a willpower thing, more like a capacity issue up there.
Exactly. And then their short-term memory maxes out around 7 things. No wonder we feel fried. Trying to remember a phone number, that grocery list, what you were even just doing.
So if our brains are running on, like, dial-up, how do we even function, let alone hyper-focus?
Bailey says it's about managing your attentional space. It's like, think of your favorite cafe, right? Limited seating, hyper-focus is getting kicky about who or what gets a table.
So is he saying multitasking is a lie?
Not a lie, but not our friend either. Remember those 40 bits per second? Every time we task switch, it's like changing channels on your brain, finding the show, catching up, all while the other channels are blaring.
Okay, starting to see the appeal of single tasking. But distractions are everywhere. My phone is, like, surgically attached.
It's bigger than just silencing your phone. Think. Proactive distraction removal. Your workspace, is it cluttered? Browser with a zillion tabs, even that mental to-do list. Write it down. Clear your space.
Love that, creating that clear space before you even begin. What else?
This is good, the hourly alarm trick. And before you think it's rigid scheduling, it's not. It's about awareness. Alarm goes off, you ask yourself, what was my attention on? Was that what I intended?
Like a little check-in with your brain. Nice.
Right. You catch those attention drifts before they're an hour on social media or, down some YouTube rabbit hole. And the best part, the more you do it, the more automatic it gets. You're actually training your focus.
So we're aiming for, like, peak mental performance. But this whole hyper-focus thing all the time, I mean, my brain would fry, right?
Probably would. That's the thing. Hyperfocus is not an all-day, everyday kind of deal. Bailey's clear about that. Our brains just aren't wired for constant focus. In fact, pushing for it too hard, it can backfire. Burnout, creativity takes a nosedive, the whole shebang.
Okay, that's a relief, honestly.
Hmm.
So what's the alternative? If we can't be on 24/7, how do we, like, make room for the good ideas to show up?
This is where it gets juicy. Bailey talks about something called scatterfocus. Basically, the fun, spontaneous cousin of hyperfocus.
Scatterfocus. So we're talking, like, daydreaming, but with a purpose.
That's got it. It's not zoning out completely. It's more like giving your mind space to wander, make connections it wouldn't otherwise. Like, imagine exploring a forest. Hyperfocus. It's following the trail, gets you there, but you might miss the cool stuff off the beaten path. Scatterfocus. That's where the adventure's at.
Okay, love a good adventure.
Yeah.
But is there, like, a method to the mind wandering?
Absolutely. Bailey breaks it down into 3 modes. First up, capture mode. Like essentially a brain dump. Remember that mental to-do list? Jot it down. Any nagging thoughts, random ideas, get them out to you.
Brain dump, my favorite. It's like hitting refresh on my brain. What about these other modes?
Next is problem crunching mode. Super helpful when you're stuck. Instead of forcing a solution, you hold the problem loosely, let your thoughts kind of circle it, like a dog sniffing out a treat. You'd be surprised what pops up when you ease up on the pressure.
Like when you're in the shower or out on a walk and bam, the answer just hits you.
Exactly. Your brain's been working on it in the background, making those connections you didn't even know were there. And finally, there's habitual mode. Those tasks, kind of mindless, folding laundry, dishes, a walk.
Oh, totally. That's prime idea time for me. Is it like scatter focus happening?
100%. Those repetitive tasks, they free up mental space for those breakthroughs. So yeah, don't be surprised if you're doing dishes and $1 million idea strikes.
So not a coincidence, it's scatter focus in action.
Mm.
Wow, this is powerful stuff. So we're, like, training our hyperfocus, letting loose with scatter focus. But how do we make sure it's actually productive? Because let's be real, sometimes my brain just wanders off to, like, cats playing piano on YouTube.
It's about being intentional, right? Not just letting your mind run wild, but giving it good material to work with. Remember that problem crunching mode? There's this whole psychological thing behind it, the Zeigarnik effect.
Zeigarnik?
Yeah.
That's kind of intimidating.
Nah, it's simple. Our brains are obsessed with unfinished stuff. Unresolved problems, you name it. It's why you get songs stuck in your head, or that project you almost finished keeps calling you back.
Ugh, tell me about it. I'm the queen of unfinished projects, so like mental sticky notes I can't peel off. So how's this affect a good thing?
Think of your brain like a detective working a case in the background. You put that problem out there, that creative challenge. Even if you're not actively solving it, your brain's on it, sniffing out clues, making connections, even during
No, I'm
scatterfocus.
walking the dog, suddenly, boom, breakthrough on that work thing.
Hmm.
That's Zygarnik. My brain was working even when I wasn't.
Exactly. And not just problem solving either. Say you've got a story idea or a business plan. Holding it in your mind, you're priming the pump for those aha moments, even when you're not directly thinking about it.
That's wild. But you mentioned something before about like feeding our minds the right stuff for scatter focus to really click.
So important. Bailey talks about attention as currency. Books, articles, videos, podcasts, they're all fighting for your attention. You wouldn't waste money on junk, right? Same with your attention. No mental junk food.
So it's like being picky with what we consume. Quality over quantity.
Exactly. It's not about being a snob. It's about intention. What are your goals? What do you want to learn? What nourishes your mind, fuels that creativity? Go for that.
Garbage in,
Mhm.
garbage out. Right. Or in this case, inspiration in, brilliant ideas out. This is great. So hyper-focus training, embracing the scatter, and being picky eaters with our information. Recipe for success, maybe.
It's that balance, right? Focused attention, but also letting the mind roam free with a purpose. Discipline and A&D openness, all in one.
My brain is like buzzing with ideas right now. So listener, here's a thought for you. Bailey talks about making a constellation of related dots in your mind. What would your ideal constellation be? What dots do you need to make those connections really pop? Think about that during your next walk, your next dishwashing session, your next moment of scatter focus. Who knows what you'll discover?
And on that note, we'll let you go explore. Until next time, happy focusing.